Are you all good to go? Media good to go? Yeah. So I might touch on weather here locally and then the two announcements we have today, and then happy to take questions on those matters first and then anything else you're interested in. Overnight, the rain has been patchier than was originally forecast, and that has meant that there have been lower flood levels than were forecast, particularly here in Mackay. So the Pioneer River peaked at minor flood level. In Morani, it peaked at major flood level, which saw some inundation of low-lying, mostly agricultural land. There's no reports of homes being affected. We continue to see significant road closures through the entire region. Creeks and rivers are rising and falling very rapidly. Our concern at this stage is resupply for those communities who are now isolated, and I understand the LDMG's resupply group, the resupply committee, will meet today to talk about getting supplies into those communities that may be isolated for days or even up to a week. We'll continue to see heavy rainfall throughout the day in the range of 100 to 180 millimetres over a 6-hour period. So our message to the public is to continue to take care. I want to thank the SES, the Police Service and Queensland Fire and Emergency Service who've been, of course, supporting communities throughout. While I'm here in Mackay today, I will meet with the Mayor, but I understand and am advised that all of the disaster systems are working very well, that the local governments are doing a fantastic job managing the impacts, managing the weather and impacts. The QRA will be available. Sure. That's okay. As the Minister responsible for the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, I will make the QRA available to local governments affected by these rainfall events. While we expect the rain here in central and northern Queensland to recede, we expect continuing thunderstorm activity and monsoonal rain activity in the Cape and Torres as well. So I'm here in Mackay today by coincidence during this weather event to make two exciting announcements for Mackay and the wider region. The first is that the Palaszczuk government has committed funds from our industry partnership project, Industry Partnership Program, the IPP, to expand the pilot plant here in partnership with QUT. This is a pilot plant that takes biomass and turns it into high-value products like biofuels, green chemicals and bioproducts. The opportunities here for Mackay and the wider region going into the future are enormous. The world, the entire world, is looking to green products produced using biomass. And because Mackay and Queensland has such a large established feedstock industry in sugar, it means that Mackay is ground zero for those opportunities, and companies around the world are looking to Mackay to use that biomass for products they need, and in the process they will create jobs here in Mackay. We're also announcing today a new partnership with Cauldron. This partnership will see us develop a business case for Asia Pacific's largest fermentation manufacturing facility. We're contributing $528,000 to this business case to determine if and how we can build that fermentation manufacturing facility here in Mackay. It will allow us to take those biomass that I talked about earlier and turn them into other products, including the food of the future that will ensure the world can provide food for our growing population. It'll allow us to continue to support our fantastic agriculture industry as well as create even more jobs here in Mackay. Ian O'Hara from QUT knows a lot more about it, and he's here to talk about our announcements. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Deputy Premier. The Mackay pilot plant has been supporting the needs of Australian industry and the Mackay community now for about 10 years. And this expansion that we're undertaking is really critical to meet the needs of what's required over the next decade. The expansion will expand the range of products that we're able to produce. So we'll now be able to produce a range of new novel food ingredients, but also to move into synthetic biology products like textiles and specialty and fine chemicals. These are products that have huge market demand. There are significant growing opportunities both in Asia and the Pacific and around the world. And the advantage of a facility like this for Mackay is it really puts Mackay on the map in terms of these new industries. It supports local industry to develop and supports investment of new companies into the region. So this is a very exciting announcement. We're very pleased. We would like to thank the Queensland Government for their ongoing support and also to congratulate Cauldron on their announcement as well, which also supports the growth of this biofuture sector in Queensland.
So where do you think that in terms of moving from pilot plant project into demonstration or commercially viable operation?
The biofutures industry is growing really rapidly. We're seeing incredible momentum around the world. What we're trying to do is to make sure that Queensland has the chance to capture some of that opportunity here for local industry. So the momentum is there, the markets are there. We're trying to ensure that the sugarcane industry here in Queensland, that our sugar farmers, our sugar producers also have the opportunity to benefit from what is happening around the world.
And is this technology for the food products and the textiles, is that being used anywhere else, or is this new technology that you're testing?
It's a combination of both testing new technology being developed in Australia, but also attracting investors who are developing technology overseas, but looking to build their commercial facilities. And we really want to see some of those commercial facilities being built here in Mackay and in other sugar growing parts of Queensland.
And what sort of output are you looking at annually for those products? Is that being determined?
When the facility's at scale, it'll be an industry worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It really is a very significant global opportunity that Queensland can be part of.
Is there a time frame for it to reach that scale?
Look, the industry is growing incredibly rapidly. In terms of what will happen here in Mackay or in any centre here, the timeframes are unknown, but we certainly expect that within the next 5 years there'll be many of these facilities being built around the world, and we're very keen to make sure that Queensland is home to at least some of those.
When we talk about this bringing more jobs to the region, is there any indication of a ballpark figure on what that might look like?
For every facility that you build like this, you would expect to create over 100 jobs. And so if we're looking at several of these facilities, we're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of jobs in Queensland over the course of the next decade.
And you said this has been in operation for about 10 years as a pilot facility. When do we move from pilot to full-scale production?
So this facility has been demonstrating a range of other technologies over the past decade, and some of those technologies have already moved to commercial production. And so we've already seen the jobs being created from the work that's been done here. What we're now looking to do is to create that next generation, the next wave of innovation, to create the next wave of companies and the next wave of jobs being created.
Yeah. I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for coming today. What I really want to convey is for us to build an industry in a regional location like this. It takes a village, it takes a lot of radical collaboration, so I want to thank the Queensland Government for contributing to the current piece of work to build a $300 million future food hub here in Mackay. It's going to take a lot of investment both from private and government funding. Also, I'd want to acknowledge there's a number of amazing stakeholders in the Mackay region that have brought this together. So we have the Greater Whitsunday Alliance who brought us up here, the Cauldron Company, along with our investors, Main Sequence Ventures and Horizon Ventures, up to this region to speak to QUT, to speak with Mackay Sugar about building a full manufacturing facility in the region. And what we like to see going forward is we believe that this will shore up the use of the sugarcane beyond its current uses. It's going to create interesting manufacturing and training opportunities for the community. But also the value I really see are coming from a regional area is creating jobs that are interesting for the next generation in the Mackay region, giving them exciting jobs where they want to stay at home, they want to stay in the regions, and they want to develop the regions as a whole. We're looking to build a facility in the Mackay region. That's what the business study is, and we're looking to do that within the next 36 months. And that's when we're talking about when these jobs, these highly skilled jobs, will be coming to Mackay or retaining existing jobs in Mackay. as I say, the local resources, human and natural, are what are bringing companies like Cauldron to Mackay.
There are lots of sugarcane growing regions throughout Queensland. Why is Mackay being selected as a place to put this facility?
When I come to Mackay, what I see is an amazing community that has a lot of skilled people. There's a lot of operators, there's a lot of tradespeople, but I also look at the businesses that have been brought to Mackay. You see these large engineering businesses, and that's really core. When you're talking about manufacturing capability, you need that skill set, and I don't see that skill set in many other regions in Australia. So that's where I see the key value in the Greater Whitsundays region, and we can always bring sugarcane from places other than Racecourse Mill. Sorry? Michelle Stansfield. So, Cauldron, yeah. Cauldron Molecules, CEO. Yep.
Just picking up on that point, obviously there is sugarcane or further afield just here in Mackay. Is this something you hope to roll out over a wider geographic area once you've started it here and established other?
Well, the way that the business model with Cauldron is we are actually looking at a small modular, sorry, probably not small, it's a modular thing where we can actually tap into resources and have them on site, providing that we have effective infrastructure, so we have power and water available. We're able to put these, co-locate these with the feedstock, and I think that really drives the techno-economics and the value of the product that will come out of these things. Thanks, guys.
Very good. Any other questions? No.
If we can just start with the weather event.
Yes.
We see this morning the First and Creek Bridge has gone under yet again, making the Encase Bridge unusable. Is the government ever going to commit funding to fix that problem in the road?
Let me get some advice from TMR about what the long-term plans are for those locations. Obviously, we continue to invest to upgrade our roads to make them more flood resilient, with a particular focus on the Bruce Highway. But if you're happy for me to get some specific advice about what the plans are for that bridge.
Yeah, and the Encase Bridge was opened 7 years ago. There was no plan for the Thurston Bridge to be upgraded. Why is it taking so long for that link to be flood-proof?
If you let me get some advice from TMR about that particular bridge, I'm happy to get back to you. Yeah.
Just a few questions for Brisbane.
Sure.
Last night it seems like there was a bit of a wild crime spree. I think 4 different fast food restaurants across the inner west were held up at gunpoint. What's going on with that? I know there's new laws coming in. Is there any plan to fast track that?
We are fast-tracking those new laws and new programs. So there's 10 new initiatives that were announced in recent weeks. We have an implementation team working now on how to implement those. Some of them obviously require legislative change, and that will be introduced into the first sitting of the Parliament next month.
And also Rocky, as well, a similar case. Over the last couple of days, there has been 7 different teenagers arrested for various things along those lines. This is obviously a regional issue as well. Is there anything specific being done to help out in areas outside Brisbane?
In each of our regions, we are increasing the number of police out there fighting crime. That's our responsibility, is to make sure that the police have the resources and the tools that they need to catch criminals and to prevent crime. In the central Queensland area, I think there's something like 150 additional police officers available to do that important work, and they are doing a great job and continue to do so.
We can ask about the Gladstone maternity situation. How can one specialist locum deliver 24/7 obstetric care in the region?
One locum allows us to bolster the services available in Gladstone, but what we've said is that we won't be able to return to full maternity services across Gladstone and Rockhampton until we have filled all 10 obstetrician positions. Four of those positions have been, 4 of those roles have now been offered to specialists, and we hope to have all of them filled by the middle of the year. But that one additional locum does allow us to return to 24/7 services in Gladstone, but not the full range of services. We'll need to wait until we have all 10 staff for that.
And so when would you expect that flights up to
So we'll be able to offer 24/7 support once that first additional full-time equivalent specialist is available. We hope that to be in February. The additional staff, though, the full 10, could take until the middle of the year. It takes some months between recruitment, particularly when we're recruiting overseas doctors. It takes some months to get them through the visa process and have them relocated here.
What was the event after the announcement for the obstetric specialists?
So the Health Minister and I met with Queensland Health yesterday to work through all of the issues associated with maternity services in central Queensland. The Health Minister continues to work very closely with the Director General, Queensland Health and the HHS to get those services back up and running.
We've just had a statement from Ros Bates this morning. I just want to read you a line of it. It's a complete embarrassment that the Health Minister has had to be dragged to a meeting with her own Director General by an acting Premier and former Health Minister who is also responsible for the government's health system. Is that a fair characterisation of how that meeting came to pass?
Not at all, but you wouldn't expect Ros Bates to make a fair characterisation. That's not what she does. What happened yesterday was the Health Minister and I met together with the Director General of Queensland Health to hear from him his plan to support the HHS to deliver the health services that it's their job to deliver. So the HHSs are responsible for recruiting staff, for determining what health services will be delivered and for delivering those services. And I sought to work with the Health Minister to convey to the Director General and to Queensland Health just how seriously the Queensland Government, that's me, the Health Minister, all of our government, just how seriously we took the situation in Gladstone to offer to them if there was any further support that they required and to determine what further steps could be taken. Now, there is an Australia-wide, in fact worldwide, shortage of many specialties, and recruiting obstetricians is very challenging. And you've got to remember that these are real people. And so when a health service recruits a new obstetrician, puts enormous effort into that, another obstetrician might leave, leaving the same hole that they were seeking to fill. And that's the process Central Queensland Health has been going through. We understand that, but we also know that the community want and deserve and expect certain levels of health services, and it's our HHS's job to deliver that. And the Health Minister and I were very, very clear with the Director General that we had that expectation.
Would you say that the government is taking this situation seriously? Wouldn't it be pertinent then for the Health Minister to be on the ground?
I'm not sure what you mean, though.
With heading for the announcement with the Gladstone, the rocket specialist.
We didn't make an announcement. We issued a joint statement late yesterday.
Wouldn't it have been a good idea to actually be in the region?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Whether the statement was made for it to be made in the region that's affected.
Well, the meeting that we held at 3 o'clock yesterday, it was held in Brisbane. I was on the phone in Maryborough. There was an expectation from the media late yesterday that we would outline the outcomes of that meeting, and so clearly the fastest way we could do that was by issuing a joint statement. I don't think you could expect much more than that in the time frame.
And when do you expect, sorry, I was reading the question from Brisbane, how do you manage to source these specialists where there is such a shortage? Is it a case of having to look overseas only, or are we training enough specialists in Queensland and Australia?
It is incredibly challenging, and there are specific challenges in recruiting obstetricians both for training and once trained, specific challenges for that specialty. The Health Minister has been meeting with the appropriate college as well as with the AMA. We continue to recruit around Australia and around the world. We've taken steps to make sure that our specialists in particularly metropolitan areas are able to travel to the regions and rotate through the regions, and there's been steps taken to make that even more attractive to them. So we're really doing everything that we can to identify the people to go into these roles, but we need To offer a safe service for mothers and their babies, we need to ensure we have the minimum level of staffing that is considered safe. And across Rockhampton and Gladstone, that is 10 obstetricians. We have 6 now. We hope to have 1 locum available soon. And we have made offers to 4 additional staff that will come online, we hope, in coming months.
Just jumping back to your crime quickly, just the last question on that. Obviously, such violent spree last night, targeting 4 different fast food restaurants. Is there people, should they be scared? Is there any reason to be scared? Do you have a message on that front?
Well, no doubt the police are working today to investigate those crimes and apprehend suspected offenders. We have more than 1,000 additional police on the beat right now to do that work, and the Queensland Government, the Palaszczuk Government, will continue to give them the resources and tools that they tell us they need to prevent and fight crime.
So there's no reason anyone should be scared?
I know that our police service is working very, very hard with all of those additional police to investigate those crimes, to prevent crimes before they occur, and to apprehend offences once they have.
Just a quick question. The university in Western Mackay, residents across the Pioneer Valley have reacted with a lot of anger about the proposal. How is the government responding to that anger and concern?
Well, I think to be fair, there have been mixed reactions. Some residents have welcomed the opportunities that will come with that project, while some obviously are concerned about the impact it'll have on their properties and their communities. We'll continue to work really closely with them throughout the planning process and into construction commencing. But that project is massive for this region. It will create incredible opportunities for this region, not just in construction but also in the deep storage that it will provide to industry, so that we can allow them to convert from fossil fuels to green energy and export green products to the world. So all up, that project is going to be fantastic for this region. We'll continue to work with those residents likely to be affected, as we always do. Many of our government projects impact on people's properties and their communities, and I know that the department is working very closely and hard to bring those communities along with us. Oh, look, we hope it won't come to that, and it usually doesn't come to that. Most of the time, we are able to work with landholders to identify a suitable solution. We have a detailed planning process underway right now, and expert community consultation staff on the ground working with